Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello. Most of you, I'm sure, know me. Some of you may not. I'm Amy Prokopis, and I write books, mostly fantasy romance. That's really my genre, but I have written science fiction. Tonight, and what I've currently been working on is the end of my fantasy romance series. The series is Guardians of the Sixth Gate. Oh my gosh. And I'm currently doing my read through of book 3, which is the final one. It is a trilogy. So that is a little bit about me. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the stream. Some of my friends are already here. Hello, Dreaming Truth author. Jessica is here. Hello. Jen is here for a little bit. She says, dropping in to say hi. I can't join tonight, but I'll hopefully be back in action next week. Jen, I think you and I keep missing each other because I missed part of your live stream yesterday. And my schedule has also been off. I've been adjusting from going from really, really busy at my day job, my full-time job, to not nearly as busy and filling it all with writing stuff. And I am just now getting back on track. So I think you and I keep missing each other. Jessica says, starting draft 2 of my first book tonight. So excited. You did tell me that earlier, that you were working on draft 2. That is super exciting. There's just like there's just some magic to getting back to draft 1 to do like the editing stuff, reading through it, what I'm currently doing with Mistress of Shadows. There's something really special about that experience because it is the closest you will ever get to being a reader of your own book, reading through that first draft, especially if you do it the way I do, which is what I'm doing right now. I always start with a read through. So after I finish writing the book, that's draft 1, I try to sit it for about a month or just a couple weeks, depending on my timeline. With Mistress of Shadows, I only took a couple weeks off before I started the read through because it took me so long to write it. And then I do my read through, which is when I sit down, I read it in as close to one sitting as I can. I'm trying to read it with fresh eyes. So I try to forget the whole book is what I do. And that is as close as you can get to reading your own work for the very first time. And there's something magical about it because it's very gratifying, because even though there are definitely mistakes and terrible pieces of writing in it, there's always a couple really like perfect gems that give you a little bit more hope in yourself that maybe I'm not terrible at this. Because imposter syndrome is real, guys. Dreaming Truth author says, that's awesome, Jessica. I'm super excited for you. It'll be fun. And especially since you're starting it tonight in the stream, that's really fun to have like the community around us to do all of that. Never thought I'd see the day with how much needing fixing of draft 1. Right? I feel the same way. I'm finding so many really small, stupid mistakes in Mistress of Shadows, although it was discouraging at first because I was making corrections or like notes in the comment log on the side of Google Docs. I was making comments every couple sentences or every paragraph. That was really discouraging at first until I realized as I got further into the book that the only things I am making notes about are spelling and not plot issues. So I'm very fortunate for that. Hopefully you won't find any huge issues with your draft either, or you already have an idea what you're going to do to fix them. So hopefully it'll go really well for you. I have a book that seems a little similar to what you're talking about. It was one of my first projects when I really took writing super seriously. It was a project I thought that I would publish first, and it was the book I wanted to publish first. And I don't have plans for the next year or two to publish it. I really want to, but it's one of those things that's so close to my heart that I want to do it exactly right. I want to do it perfectly. And it's much more in the realm of high fantasy. I really love that project. So maybe someday. Dreaming Truth author says, my goal tonight is to write 500 words towards the 3rd book of my FBI thriller series. Ooh, 500 words. That's a pretty good amount. You can do it though. You can do it. You usually write quite a bit, though, so 500 words is doable. Jessica says, sounds intriguing. Yes. All right. So I have my tea with me, and just for fun, I pulled out an old mug that hasn't seen the light of day in a very long time. It's a little, he's a little bit strange looking, but I love him. I think if I remember the story right, maybe it's not this one. My husband, when we first started dating, we weren't married yet, but we had just had the we're going to get married eventually conversation. We'd had that conversation. He bought me a mug with an owl on it, and I don't remember if it's this one. I think it's the other one. I have an oversized mug with an owl on it that says, "Owl always love you." I think that's the one he bought. That sounds like some dad thing that he would do. Sometimes he pops into these live streams, so I don't think he's here, but if he's here, all good things. Only good things. Okay, so I have said it on Instagram a couple times today, and I think I might have mentioned it here. Maybe I didn't put it in the comments. I am working on finishing my read-through of Mistress of Shadows. I started early. Usually on these nights that we do these live streams, I take the 2 or so hours leading up to 8:20. I take that time off to do absolutely nothing, recharge, get ready, get in a mindset kind of. And I did not. So I actually edited 2 chapters right before I hit live with you guys. So I'm already 2 chapters in for the night. I have 3 more chapters to go and the epilogue. So what I would really love is to finish all of those early in the stream. That way I can take a look at my next project. So what I have going right now, let's kind of hit pause for a little bit for timeline because I have so much going on. I think I'm confusing people. I am preparing for publication, which means I've already written these books. I'm preparing Mistress of Shadows for the fall. I'm also preparing Winter Witches for the fall. So I have those 2 books that are releasing October, November-ish. I have not released an official date yet, but I am pretty close to nailing down those dates. Since I have 2 fall releases, I don't want them to be too close together, but I also don't want to miss the obvious marks for what these books are about. Like Winter Witches is obviously a Christmas-y, winter-esque book. So I would really like it to fall close-ish to Black Friday time when people are more likely to purchase books either for gifts and things for Christmas time or to buy it for the Christmas season. Either way, it's right before that lull happens in sales at Christmas time. If you are an author, you may know, but usually January, sometimes December to a degree, the latter half of December, but January is definitely a lull for anything, I would say, probably retail-wise, because everybody is coming off of spending all that money for gifts. And January, everyone's just enjoying it, recouping from what they've spent. And then it picks up again in February. So I want to get my book out before holiday season, but not so far before that people forget about it for holiday season. And then Mistress of Shadows, I don't want it to be close to that November release. I want it to be more of an October, September. However, this book took me longer to write. And while the edit is going well, I am a little bit worried about how quick a turnaround I can get on Mistress of Shadows. So they might end up being closer together than I'd like. So we'll see. I may be rapid releasing books, which is something I've never done. But those are fall releases. And the book I'm writing, hopefully for the spring, is Angel's book. So if you've already read Shade of the Shadowlands, which is book 2 in my fantasy romance series, then you may already kind of know who Angel is, but he's in book 2 and book 2 only. He's getting his own kind of a spin-off series. You don't have to read Guardians of the Sixth Gate to understand his book. You could read them completely separate, because they're separate things. But his book, I'm hoping I'll be able to write through the fall and then have it ready for publication in the late spring. So we will see. I've got a lot of things in the works, but that, for the time being, is what I am working on moving into tonight. So I think now would maybe be a good time to move into our first sprint of the night. If you are new, although I don't think a lot of us are, but if you are new, we do 20-minute sprints on these scheduled Sunday night sprints, streams, whatever you want to call them. We do 20 minutes. We usually go for 3 different writing sessions. So 3 sessions of 20 minutes. So I have popcorn that just finished back here in the microwave. So I'm going to go pick it up, come get cozy here on my side, and start into, I'm up to 37. This is a long book. I'm going to read chapter 37. Hopefully, I will be able to get at least all of 37 and part of 38 read. That way, I will be well on my way to finishing my edits and can move on towards Angel's book. So 20 minutes is on the clock. 3, 2, 1, sprint. Okay. Gosh. So it took me a little longer to get started because I had to go get my popcorn, have my snack. This chapter that I edited, I think, is also a little bit longer. It's on the longer side. Everything from here goes really quick, though. I have chapter 38 and 39, and then the epilogue. So I'm almost done. The epilogue is only like 2-3 pages. So I will definitely finish my edits tonight, which feels amazing. This book is so long. I love it. It's really good, but it's just, I'm not used to, since I've published anyway, I'm not used to a book of this length. And it makes me a little bit like on edge, spending more time on it than I'm used to, but I'm almost done. So how did everybody else do? Jessica says, woo, 343 for me. Feels good to be drafting again. Drafting is by far my favorite stage. You just get to live in the moment and you discover, or at least I do, because I am more of a pantser than a plotter. You get to discover the emotions as you go and live in the shoes of your characters. And that is so much fun. All right. I'm glad we're all on the same page. Dreaming Truth author says, yes, drafting is my favorite process. It is by far my favorite. I struggle with plotting. I do plot more than I used to. And with each book I release, it doesn't look very detailed, but I do a better job of plotting all of the beats out than the one before. But man, there's just nothing like living in that moment and experiencing the emotions and just putting it all on paper. That is the best. Dreaming Truth author says 301 words written. That is great. That's really close because you wanted to shoot for 500 words for this stream. So you are super close to that. You will shatter that, I think. Jessica says, absolutely. Oh, I love drafting so much. That is why I am super excited to finish with my read through of Mistress of Shadows, even though I'm going to live on that high for like a day because I know the next thing is to go through all the notes I made and implement the changes. So a little bit short-lived, but I'm super excited because once I finish this read through, the process towards publication gets a lot easier. It's not quite as in-depth. It doesn't require as much of my creative space, which means that I will be able to move on towards drafting. My goal, this is the big goal because I don't think it's going to happen, but the big goal would be to draft all of Angel's book in July or from here to the end of July. That way I am mostly done with it and I can tweak it and spend a lot more time planning out the next book because that one's going to use a lot more time because I think it'll be a long one. But that would be my dream, is that I can do all of that. That way the fall is a little lighter because for me, the fall tends to be the busy time of the year. Like NaNoWriMo, I wish I could do NaNoWriMo. I tried it this last year and failed at it quite a bit because it just falls at the worst time for me. I think that's just the worst time for everybody, right? It's about holiday season, November-ish. We're looking at Thanksgiving going towards Christmas. It just seems like the busy time of the year. So why NaNoWriMo is in November, I do not know. But the camps, I can participate in those. That's not so bad. All right, 200 more words, and then I am heading to bed. I hear you. I have to wake up. Speaking of, I need to wake up in the morning, so maybe I need to go ahead and set an alarm. I want to wake up bright and early because my plan is to go run. Woo! I've done a much better job of exercising this last few weeks. I've gotten back into a routine. I think I just need to establish one. Running specifically is something that's always on my monthly recap. And it's something that the last couple of months has been like non-existent. And so those monthly recaps have not been very fun to film for me. And I think they've also probably not been fun to watch. I know they're my lowest performing videos. They're more for me though than just to like put a video out. But running has picked up. So hopefully I'll be able to establish a routine and get back into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get geared up for our second sprint. Make sure that you've clicked like down below. Click the like button, please and thank you. I would appreciate it. And we can move on towards our second sprint. Good. I want to get back into yoga. Ooh, yoga is something I've only done, at least properly, I've only done a couple of times. I've never taken a yoga class. I've done a few like Zoom yoga things with instructors. Those were fun. Jessica says, did it through college and then fell off the bandwagon after. I think yoga, I think maybe it's an ADD thing for me. I have a very hard time slowing myself down to do yoga. I like running. It's similar in some sense to that like headspace for me. It slows my brain down to do repetitive things. And so running, the repetitive nature of running, especially distance running, slows my brain down and mellows it out. So it does some of that mindfulness for me. And it's definitely more of a higher impact exercise, but I get some of that through running. So a little bit of a tangent, but yoga would be something I'd be very interested in doing. I have one of those like fly yoga studios in town with the like the silks and stuff, the bands. It's not aerial, but it's I guess aerial yoga, that kind of thing. I've always wanted to try one of those. The classes are fun. I hear about yoga from some of my friends that do it and they love it. So I would love to have like a proper class. I'd love to experience that. Okay. Sprint number 2. 20 minutes is on the clock. Hopefully I can move quicker, well into chapter 38 and then into 39. That would be the dream. That way I have more time this evening to move towards drafting for Angel's book. Maybe we'll be able to talk a little bit more about that tonight. I haven't talked too much about his book, just that there will be one. And it's a little bit of a spinoff from the Guardians of the Six Gate series, although in some ways it's not at all. It's still that kind of fantasy world. It's an urban fantasy world, but it focuses much more on angels. So if you know anything about him from Shade of the Shadowlands, then you know a little bit about what I'm talking about when I mean it focuses on angels side of things. But maybe here's kind of an incentive for me. If I can get through 38, 39 in the epilogue of Mistress of Shadows, then we'll talk about it tonight. If not, it'll be for next week's vlog. Not vlog, live stream. So maybe we can get to it. Okay, anyway, sprint number 2, 20 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, sprint. All right. So, I, just like I'd hoped, I got all the way through chapter 38 and into chapter 39. I'm into the action. So, I was ripped out of the action by the timer. So that was not so much fun. But it is going well. So I should be able to finish the whole end of the book. I should be able to finish it in the next sprint. But that means, unfortunately, that I probably will not be able to talk much with you guys about Angel's book. So that'll be something for the next week's vlog and next week's live stream. So definitely come back. So if you're not already, make sure to subscribe below so you don't miss that, because I will be talking a lot about Angel, what my plan is, writing his book, finishing, implementing my edits. Also, that'll all be in next week's vlog, which I film a little every day, and especially next week's live stream. So next week's live stream, which is the 18th, that's Father's Day. Wow, I have a lot going on next week. So on the 18th, so Sunday, I will for sure be working on writing Angel's book, because my plan for next week is to implement all of my edits, and implementing edits does not take nearly as long as the read-through process. So I should for sure be writing by the end of the week. As far as having a really busy week, my husband and I, when we got married, we decided to get married this coming week because of a few different things. We eloped, and so for one, it was just the week we picked, but it made the most sense to pick this week because the 16th is when we got married. The 17th of June is my birthday, and the 18th of July is my husband's birthday, Alex's birthday. So it made sense to line them up that way. It just kind of fell into place, and so that's why we picked this week. So I have a bunch of big events this week. I have Father's Day plans, 2 different days, Father's Day plans, my anniversary. I think we're going to go celebrate, Alex and I, out of town for our anniversary and also my birthday. So there's a lot of things going on this week. So definitely subscribe and come back, because this week's vlog will be a whole lot more interesting than quite a few of the last few. So anyway, how did everybody's sprint go? Sprint number 2. Jessica said 372 for that sprint. Jessica, you are moving. You're doing really well. Dreaming Truth Author says 371. Thank you for the stream. I could barely hold my eyes open. Good night, all. Definitely go to sleep. Don't force yourself to stay up on our count. Thank you so much for tuning in, though. Always love having you in on the stream and hearing about your FBI thriller. I cannot wait for that book to be out and to read it. That sounds so much fun. Jessica is also heading out. All righty. Good night to the both of you. We have one more sprint left. So, one more sprint, our 3rd sprint. Subscribe to the newsletter. My newsletter, you can subscribe to that at amyprokopis.com. It's at the very, very bottom. I only send out 1 newsletter a month. Sometimes I'll send out maybe 2 if there's like a release that month or really big information. Usually it's just the 1 newsletter a month though, but it is the only place where you can find out what's coming to YouTube, what I'm writing, and what's coming to Patreon that month. I don't post that anywhere else, even on Patreon. So subscribe to the newsletter. And I have 1 chapter left and the epilogue. So I will finish it in sprint number 3. Oh, Jessica said, just saying goodnight to Dreaming Truth. Oh my goodness. Holy moly. Well, I'm glad that you're sticking around, Jessica. You're having a really good night. You've written almost like, well, no, you have written about 600 words, haven't you? Over 600 words. Wow. My gosh, you're writing a lot tonight. Okay. Third sprint is up and ready. 20 minutes on our clock. There we go. Okay, so next time I will talk to you guys, I will be finished with Mistress of Shadows. That's crazy. I feel like I've been working on it forever because in some ways I have been. I've been working on this since April, I think, right? I think I started writing it in April because I tried to write it in a month. Did not work. All right, 20 minutes on the clock. Last sprint of the night. 3, 2, 1, sprint. Oh my gosh, guys. Man, I just finished the last chapter of the book. Ugh. So now I'm on to the epilogue. Holy moly. I really like this book. This is the end of the entire series, the end of the whole Guardians of the well, not the whole series because Angel is kind of a spinoff and it's an extension. But this is the end of Tori and Jamie's story. There's something super special to that. Jessica says a grand total, wow, of 1,099 words for the night. Feels so good to have such a good start on this. That's a lot. You did really, really well. I'm so excited for you. Holy moly, 1,000 words for a live stream is a really, really good amount for me. So congrats, that's great. This has been a good night for all of us. It's always super nice to share it with all of you guys. Writing can feel really lonely. That's one thing I really enjoy about YouTube, especially, is that I get to share my journey with all of you, but not just that, but a good deal of my YouTube channel is for my own memories. There's a lot about YouTube that is just for me, like the monthly recaps. They don't perform well at all, but I know that looking back on the year for myself is one, really helpful to see growth. It's super encouraging, but just like a lot of the entire reason I do this, I mean, one, it's good marketing, but it's really fun for me to look back on how far I've come and to document the whole process, because I know that someday it'll be fun to watch these back and see all the moments and see how important they were to me as a whole years down the line. So, holy moly. It's so nice to be able to have a community to share all of that with. So you guys are just as much a part of this for me as I am for me, if that makes any sense. You guys are shaping me in your own way. So, wow. Didn't mean to make that super sentimental, but it's just a community. That's really what this is. It's just a community. Jessica says, yes, the live streams are so good for the community aspect. Yes, that is my favorite part about doing live streams and also tuning in to other people's live streams is feeling like I have coworkers. It's nice having someone to write with in real time. I completely agree. Woo. Well, I still have the epilogue for Mistress of Shadows, but it is quite a bit shorter. So I will also finish that tonight. But alas, it will not be with all of you. So sorry. Make sure to subscribe, come back, because next week we will be moving on to Angel and his story. Cannot wait for that. I'm dying to get back to that one. That is a little bit more of a grown-up story. So if you have read, not Mistress of Shadows, if you've read Shade of the Shadowlands, which is book 2 in the series, then you've met Angel and you know that Angel is college age. So Angel is older than Tori is. He is in college. He's also, there's some other things about him that if you read the book, you would know regarding the like supernatural piece of the entire series. That continues, of course, in his own book. Because for Angel, in his story, his book picks up after he has left Burbrook. He's left Burbrook, he's moved on, and then his book starts. That is where the timeline picks up. And Angel is a character I really enjoyed writing for in Shade of the Shadowlands. He's a little more mysterious, keeps a bit to himself, but you can kind of sense that there's a lot there. And he's very enticing, but you never get to dive into that. And we definitely do in his book. And I cannot wait to write it, especially because it's a little bit more grown up. So the romance elements are deeper and more grown up. That I cannot wait to write. So come back next Sunday because that is what we will be writing on next Sunday. So thank you guys so much for sticking around, watching with me, hanging out, writing, doing all the things. I love, like I just said, I love having the community. I love having people to write with. It's really fun. And it's fun to document my journey because I know looking back in the future, it'll be really fun to see how much I've grown because that's really all this is. It's a journey. Life is a journey. All we can hope for is to get better at the things that we do and the things we love to do. And as long as you're getting better, that's all that matters. So thank you guys for joining me. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I missed anything. Wow, feeling a little sentimental tonight, aren't we? So thank you for joining me. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.